Okay, dreamer please.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So we have a new update on Seven Knights 1. Yeah, you can't believe it, right? Anyway, so this is actually from Korea, and if you guys didn't know about this, basically there was a one-man protest. Yeah, there was a one-man protest, and I salute this guy, okay, for protesting against Netmarble because of the state of Seven Knights 1. Okay, so this is actually his one-on-one interview with CM Rudy, which is who is the CEO of Netmarble Nexus. Netmarble Nexus is also the one that is producing Seven Knights 2 and Seven Knights Revolution. Okay, so this is his reply to the guy, and there's a lot of things, and there's later on we'll talk about a developer's notes released by CM Rudy, Dev Rudy. Okay, so first things first, the promise to update every 4 weeks was not kept. What do you think? Dev Rudy says, first of all, I'm sorry, in order to maintain the update quality, we increased the interval from 1 week to 2 weeks, and then that happened to 4 weeks, and apart from that, I'm sorry I didn't keep updating every 4 weeks. I have nothing to say. So I mean, this is obviously I would say, not living up to the expectation and promise that he delivered. Okay, so unfortunately, that's the case right now in Seven Knights Korea as well. For us, it is almost about 7 months without an update. Okay, there is no proper event, and right now the 1-year event is hanging. Is this correct? I'm sorry about this. Manpower is the biggest part. With the current internal manpower situation, it is difficult to plan a different event every week and add such resources. So I tried to set the event like this and use that power to keep it updated. I will replan the events you mentioned, such as the Sina Carnival and Santa Pass. So I think in Korea they tend to have different events once in a while, and I think currently it's just stale. Nothing new is happening, and yeah, so I guess this was raised up. I mean, for us global players, we don't have events right now. Not even, what's that, event territory, which I used to not love. I mean, even if it comes back now, I probably won't be interested. So they really have to change things up. So when will the new character be released and proper update? There is no proper new character release. Aaron Rod released in August last year and Gideon released in April of last year are still in use. The arena battle meta is so stagnant. You change the update every 4 weeks for the quality of the update, but the quality is not coming out properly. What do you think? First of all, I think the core of Seven Knights update is the hero update. Yes, that is correct. I think the update is not being done properly because the hero update is not done. This part has the biggest internal problem. Several processes are required to release a new hero. Various parts of such as original artist, illustrator, internal modeling, design, effect design must be organically connected. It is difficult to recruit manpower, especially in the art field. Therefore, it is difficult to launch a new character. Moreover, Seven Knights is using its own engine for the game. In the early days, this part was also promoted. However, developing games with their own engine makes it difficult for developers compared to other games that use the commercial engines. I mean, this is a valid point. I guess they really designed something just for Seven Knights 1, and I think moving forward they realized that was not a good plan because clearly you see Seven Knights 2 using the Unreal Engine, and that is something that is more widely accessible to many designers, I guess. And yeah, maybe this is obviously one big reason he is mentioning that's why Seven Knights 1 is having difficulty in being developed further. This is the part where recruiting new people is more difficult compared to people who are dropping out internally. It may sound like an excuse, but the biggest problem right now is the manpower. The company never gave up on hiring staff. Okay? The company never gave up on hiring staff. So I was really worried about it internally as well. The biggest part of the update of Seven Knights is the release of new characters, but in the current situation, it is not possible to smoothly release new characters, so I thought that I will have to update it by dragging only the operational part somehow. However, these updates are by no means satisfactory to users, so I thought internally about whether it was right to continue doing these updates. In this situation, users were being scorned for not being able to update properly, and the team was atrophied. I don't know how you pronounce it. Atrophied internally in a situation where they were swearing no matter what. Okay. It continued without further communication. It seems like a big mistake, and we will communicate in future. Totally. I mean, how is it responsible on a game developer's part? You know that your franchise has a large following, and you just drop the game without any news, right? And you don't say a single thing to the players that are waiting for months. You just pretend now that the game doesn't exist, and you continue marketing your other games. I mean, it doesn't feel right. At least give players a closure if they really do need one, right? Give your ideas, I won't say ideas, but at least talk to them about what plans are there moving forward, whether there's nothing gonna happen, and it's really up to the players whether they want to still continue the game. Obviously, I don't think they're gonna leave that choice to the players, right? As long as there are people playing and potentially even just a few dollars worth every week coming in, I don't think Netmarble is just gonna, do anything. They're not gonna say, oh, actually the game is dead, you can leave. Obviously they won't do that, right? So yeah, unfortunately that's the case right now. I started not paying for Guild War costumes. What? Oh yeah, so I started not okay, basically in Korea server they had Guild War costumes even more to a further extent than the heroes themselves. So again, Rudy mentioned that Guild War costumes are also part of making a hero. So right now the art team, there's no manpower. There is no manpower, okay guys? No manpower. There's 0 people in the Seven Knights art team. If so, how many people are there in the 7-Nights-1 team? There's about 20 people. 20 people. Perhaps even at one time the Senna team had about 30 people. 20 people! And I saw this article in another post that said that the 7 Knights team is even smaller than a regular guild. And that was hilarious and also quite sad at the same time. I mean, if you think about it, it's really, really sad. 20 people. I don't know how they're gonna turn this whole thing around. It's gonna be very difficult. But they do have some plans later on, which we'll talk about in the developers notes, okay? So point number 6, as CEO of Netmarble Nexus, CM Rudy himself will write on the official cafe. Okay, that will be something we'll talk about. So I think this is a summary. In the broad sense, the 7 Knights management team is having difficulties in hiring personnel due to internal problems, and in fact the biggest complaints from users are updates, new characters and events. Since related to this manpower problem, since all the problems currently blocked by 7 Knights are related to manpower, I do not think it was a one-on-one question answer that would satisfy all 7 Knights users. CM Rudy himself said the same thing. It is said that within Netmarble Nexus, CM Rudy was leading the way to continue the operation of 7 Knights. In fact, the developers who came to support Senna 2 and 7 Knights Revolution were users who had played 7 Knights in the past, so they said that they applied they applied because it was a sequel to 7 Knights, so they thought they would keep it somehow. So it seems like the team working on 7 Knights 2 and 7 Knights Revolution are actually fans of the original 7 Knights, and they didn't expect the 7 Knights 1 to be in such crap state, basically. So he has an email address to collect feedback from the users, so that's pretty cool. I guess it's very direct communication right now. And aside from that, the top 2 failed patches the management thinks are the reboot patch and the blacksmith patch. Everyone knows about the reboot patch. I thought the blacksmith was a bit surprising, but if you look at the number of pure users, it is said that there were more at the time of the patch than the reboot patch. For this reason, I also consider a rollback, but as the management team intended, users begin adapt to the fact that the blacksmith was comfortable, so they didn't roll back. So if you guys didn't know, especially for global players would never know this, okay? Basically, the reboot was a huge thing, right? The reboot changed a lot of skill sets and all that. I think for the Korean server it also changed skill sets. I'm not too sure, but basically for the blacksmith is actually referring to the inventory system. If you know Korea server, they actually allow you to share equipments amongst certain factions of your entire certain factions of heroes. So if you were to register a certain equipment for, let's say, 7 knights, all the 7 knights can use it. Okay, all the 7 knights can use that particular jewel that you registered, particular weapon that you registered, and so on and so forth. So I don't actually, to me it was, reading this, it is quite surprising because I thought that was a pretty interesting system. Basically reduces the amount of weapons you do need for all your heroes. So apparently it seems like they felt that it was a bad release. I don't know. But after all, people definitely had to get used to it. I don't know. Maybe if you guys played Korean server and you have any feedback about that inventory system, maybe you can let us know in the comments about your own thoughts, okay? So now all the players who stayed at 7 Knights and enjoyed the game said that they stayed because they like 7 Knights. They like 7 Knights itself, okay? So it lasted an hour and a half. The one-man demonstration will end today. So this guy, really kudos to him for standing up for the whole 7 Knights community. I mean, I really respect him. Okay, so this is directly from Korea. Okay, this happened actually quite some time ago. I would say last week. Okay, so Death Rudy has actually spoken up today. This is the official Death Note from Death Rudy today. Okay, this is Kim Jong-min, a former 7 Knights producer and Netmarble Nexus CEO. You may also know me as CM Rudy. So obviously he got promoted to a really high position. I mean, just think about it. From a game developer to the CEO of Netmarble Nexus. I mean, that's crazy. Okay, first of all, I would like to express my deep gratitude to the users who always care for 7 Knights. We wanted to continue to update and operate that users will be satisfied without change. First of all, we'd like to express our sincere apologies for the failure to continue due to our shortcomings. It is with a heavy heart that we caused great disappointment with updates and have not lived up to the expectations of users. It is also true that the promise to work hard in communication has faded and my confidence has been lost. It's a little late, but I'm careful. But for the users who have loved and cared for it for a long time, I thought it would be good to be honest about the 7 Knights situation. 7 Knights is a symbolic project that gave Netmarble Nexus its first success. It is also a project with a lot of affection, because it received so much love that it was unbearable and received a lot of reprimand. I think criticism. But now that a long time has passed from a game developer's point of view, 7 Knights seems to have become a project that has lost a lot of competitiveness. I guess when he means competitiveness, it means the money that it is making. Okay? Due to the characteristic of its own engine, there was a problem of shortage of manpower for project maintenance and development. There are many difficulties in supplementing with recruitment, and so we are in a sad situation where the internal situation is gradually worsening. To the users who have protected 7 Knights in such a difficult situation, it is important to present a satisfactory sequel that surpasses the previous work, basically 7 Knights 2, 7 Knights Revolution. I spent a lot of time thinking deeply about it, thinking it was a way to repay users who showed unsparing affection and interest in the original work. We discussed and implemented various attempts on the service and operation of 7 Nights that needed improvement. We were unable to provide satisfactory service because we could not meet the users' needs every time. As a result, improvements and efforts were lacking. To be honest about the current situation of 7 Nights, 7 Nights had one more reduction in developers starting from the 8th anniversary. It is difficult to update normally, including heroes, due to the staff deviation by position rather than the reduced number of developers. 8th anniversary took place in March. Okay, so it's been about 4 months since they had a crunch in the manpower. So that's basically about a lot of time they have been doing nothing. Okay. As before, various and active updates including new heroes were probably what users want the most, but I am deeply responsible for not being able to give 100% certainty and promises about the future direction, and I bow my head and apologize deeply. With this opportunity, I once again thought about the direction for the 7 Nights IP, and for the many users who still enjoy 7 Nights. First of all, I thought we should communicate honestly about what we can do and focus on the original. I did it. We will do our best for communication and event operation in future and review other possible directions. We promise to keep sharing. And we will carefully review the direction of the future remastered version through engine replacement of the 7 Nights project. So this is the main gist of the whole developers notes. They have plans to change the entire engine that 7 Nights is running on, which means basically imagine a game that was running on the Unreal Engine suddenly say that we are no longer going to use the Unreal Engine and we're going to use something else. That really changes the entire game, doesn't it? That basically is saying that we are going to create a new game and you can play that. I mean, that's how I'm looking at it, and I don't think it will keep the essence of the first one, the one we are all playing right now, because engine replacement is a huge deal, right? It's so big on a scale that I don't even know what to think, you know. Basically, it's really just saying that we will create a new game for this version of 7 Nights, and hopefully with that people will come back. I think that's what they're expecting. I don't know, right? Okay, let's read on. The update you want is not going on right now. The specific direction and schedule for the remastered version are not being updated. I can't announce it through the paper today, but I decided it was right to tell you that I started thinking like this. After that, the details will be shared separately and we'll try to alleviate the frustration through continuous sharing of the progress. When a sequel was released, consideration for original users was insufficient. Maybe that's why we couldn't confidently recommend a sequel. Yeah, I mean, firstly, they have to acknowledge that for the sequel 7 Nights 2, it is a great departure from the 7 Nights 1. The system of how the game is being played is completely different. You can't expect the same players to enjoy that same game, right? Even for me, I'm not a real-time game kind of player. Yeah, and even to today, even though I do enjoy 7 Nights 2, I'm not like completely adept to it, you know? Yeah, so it is a very different game, and I think they just conveniently, you know, dropped 7 Nights 1, and it wasn't, I don't think it was a simple oversight. Yeah, anyway, a little late, but we will prepare a small perk for the sequel for original users only until next September. We will produce and provide special costumes that can be used in 7 Nights 2 and 7 Nights Revolution. In addition, as a coffee truck sent by users last year was a great inspiration and strength to the development and management team, we will prepare an event to reward our users so that we can inform them later. Okay, so what they're basically saying is that we are going to repay 7 Nights 1 players with events or costumes that are usable in 7 Nights 2. That's not how things work, okay? As I just mentioned, not everyone playing Seven Knights 1 is playing Seven Knights 2 or will play Seven Knights Revolution. They are just completely different games, appealing to completely different groups of people. The only people that are going to play all three games are those that really love Seven Knights or content creators, right? So this is not going to entirely benefit anyone, or rather, yeah, to a very big extent. And what kind of duration are you talking about? Like, are people just gonna create accounts right now in Seven Knights 1 so that they can benefit from that? Yeah, I don't know. I think you do need to. I mean, if they're gonna go ahead with this, I think you do need a minimum check-in period to enjoy it, and I think that will make a lot more sense. Okay, I think that Netmarble Nexus has been able to come so far because of Seven Knights. Seven Knights 2 and Seven Knights Revolution both have a lot of changes in visuals and gameplay, but in order to inherit the fundamental DNA of Seven Knights, we paid attention to various aspects and made an effort. Taking this opportunity, we have been seriously thinking about the direction in which the Seven Knights series can be connected, and we will do so in future. As the person in charge of Seven Knights IP, thank you to all users who enjoy Seven Knights with constant love and interest. On behalf of all stakeholders, I would like to express my deepest gratitude and apologies. I am sorry for giving you these heavy words in the month of July, which should be a place for you to celebrate. Yeah, honestly, yeah, I think it's quite sad. We will do our best to recognize the seriousness of the situation and approach users with a more sincere image in the future. Yeah, I don't think it's very sad that in Seven Knights Man there's nothing for Seven Knights 1. Like, not even something, you know? They had 4 months, right? The team had 4 months. I would rather they, you know, just plan for July. At least do something for July. Even for Seven Knights 1 Global, New World, right? Even just do something for July. I think that would mean so much to the community. I mean... It's really small, but it is still something. Yeah, so those are my thoughts on the entire situation. I thought that, you know, Seven Knights 1 players who still, people who have left, people who are still playing, I think you guys should know what's going to happen. We don't know if this will even affect global New World, right? This could jolly well just be something just to appease Korean players, Seven Knights 1 Korea server. So we don't really know, but hopefully it does spill over. I think the best thing right now is, you know, really to create a game that both global and Korea are the same. It's too much effort to outsource your global stuff to another team that is completely worse than the Korean version. You know, not taking care of it well and letting it die like that. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on the whole situation, and of course, as usual, big shout out to my channel members: Jeremy, Fahas, Gonzalo, Nick, and Chilling, Yamaki, Kevin, Harlan, Jeremy, and Zon for their support. Stay tuned for more videos. Thank you so much, and see you!